Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Rachael Satchell from Milford Asset Management. I'm thrilled to be here on behalf of Milford as a proud grant sponsor of the Future 2 Foundation grant. Joining me today is the wonderful Philippa Hunt from Wise Girls Money. Thank you for joining me. I wanted to interview Philippa today as a proud grant sponsor of the grant. Philippa is a passionate advocate for women's financial empowerment and overall well-being. I'm really excited to hear more about her journey and the impact that she's making. Before we dive into our conversation, I really wanted to provide a little bit of background as to who Milford is and the purpose behind the Milford Community Connections program. Milford is an asset management firm that was established in 2003 in New Zealand. We're proud to be one of the largest non-bank owned asset management firms in New Zealand. In 2014, we expanded our business into Australia, where we now offer our proven investment strategies to Australian investors. At Milford, giving back is a core part of our identity. We established the Milford Foundation, where we donate 1% of our profit to support charitable organisations focused on youth, education and the environment. Inspired by this ethos, in Australia, we launched the Milford Community Connections program in 2023. The program enables financial advisors to support charities and non-for-profit organisations that are meaningful to them and also to their clients. We're proud to have made this an annual giving event and we're excited to see its growing impact. So Philippa, thank you so much for joining me today and congratulations again for receiving the grant. To start us off, I'd love you to talk me through what inspired you to create Wise Girls Money and what's the mission behind the program.
Actually, that goes back quite a way because I've been in the financial planning industry for over 2 decades, and before that I was in psychology and education. And when I realised that women couldn't afford advice even way back then, and women don't earn anywhere near the amounts of money in their occupations that men do, they had less in their super, and I realised back then what it was going to mean for them to prepare for retirement when they didn't have what they could get advice for because they didn't think that they could afford it. So I thought the only way I could fix this is for them to learn to do it themselves. So it came as a sort of an inspiration in a way because I brought the psychology into it, and I'm very glad I did, because women don't spend and invest and save their money the way men do because our priorities is just so different and our language and the way our neuroscience works. So what I did was I brought it all together. So I wrote the book and I thought I'd better teach this in case it doesn't work. So I did teach it and it did work. So now Wise Girls Money Academy course program has come about because the aim was to actually get women to be financially independent, to be able to take care of themselves and competent. So that was the inspiration for it.
It's fantastic. As a mum of a fiercely independent 6-year-old, I love that there's programs like this that can, help women with financial literacy and going, and it's something that's meaningful to me as well. Can you take me through how you were nominated through the Future 2 grant, and more broadly, why do you think financial literacy is so important, especially in the context of the work Future 2 is doing?
It was quite serendipitous. I happened to be in the office and one of your, a BDM from a fund manager called in, and we were talking about Wise Girls Money, and she said, have you heard about, because I knew about Future 2 Foundation, she said, they're doing financial literacy support this year, I'll send you the link, which she did. So we duly filled out the application, hoping.
Can you tell me more about the program itself? So what does it involve? How will the grant help you expand and enhance the women you support and your impact?
The course itself, we developed it as 6 modules. And so it starts off, each module has a sequential part for money management. So we start off with budgets, and that's a whole skill for a lot of people. The other thing that I did as a research project was to do a pre-test. So we did their risk profile, and I did their Myers-Briggs personality test, because at one point I was actually going to do a PhD and decided I didn't have the time, honestly. But I used the data collection tool for that, which had been signed off by Griffith Uni at the time years ago. So I did that as a pre-test, because we used it as a post-test to see what they'd learnt. And so the whole thing is constructed on basics right through to more involved. So start off with budgeting. The next week might be superannuation. The next week is debt. And so as they go along, they're learning the financial terminology and how it works and why it works the way it does. So they're building a body of knowledge. And that coaching on a Tuesday night for the under 40s, and Wednesday night was the over 40s for 2 hours. And the first hour we teach what the finance is that they've been learning that week, because you can read it out of a book, but unless you understand the financial concepts for women, it needs to be in our language. The second hour was, depending on their age group, was female, our health, emotional health, our mental health, and what we do with our money to support that. So we also set up their goals. Well, what is it you're trying to achieve? And so by the end of it, we come out the other end with all their superannuation in place. They understand why they have insurances under super. They're speaking as an advisor back to me in risk and volatility. They understand the terminology. So they go from knowing nothing to coming back and saying, well, what about this particular managed fund? Is it high risk or what? So then we go through that. So at the end of the program, they're financially competent.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I can imagine you've seen some powerful outcomes from the program. Can you take us through some examples?
Oh, yes. In the under 40s, they're aspirational.
Yeah.
So they're desperate to save. So they need to learn how to save. But I also base that on their temperament, because some people can save just for so far, then they get so frustrated with not being able to afford a $6 or $7 cup of coffee as it is now.
Yeah.
So now we teach them how to budget for their playtime.
Yeah.
So they actually have some joy in their budget.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it just goes on staying alive and saving.
Yeah.
And then they set their goals with what they really want to achieve. And one of them went overseas and ended up getting a job overseas because she'd saved up to do just that. It was her goal. Another one was already married. She's now starting a family as of this month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And because she worked out how that, and she was a saver, but it gave her the confidence to go for it. And now she's expecting a first child sometime in June.
Yeah.
I have to catch up with her about that. And with the over 40s, they were setting up for their retirement goals. So they became very clear about when they wanted to retire, what it wanted to look like, and now they're working backwards to this point to figure out what they've got to do to go forward.
Yeah.
So we've had some pretty astonishing, one of them finished her degree, and another one in the over 40, which I was very proud of, she is diagnosed with ADHD. So saving and getting organised for her was tough.
Yeah.
But with the support of her group, we encouraged her through her studies in aged care. She actually got through it. She got a higher income, and now she's saving that into her superannuation. And she said, it took me until I was in my mid-40s, Philippa, to figure it out with yours and everybody else's help. So that was a star outcome for her. I was so thrilled.
That's amazing. I can just feel your energy just hearing those stories, and it's extremely impactful. Can you take me through, what are some of the most common misconceptions or challenges you've observed with the women that you support?
Well, for women who have gone through domestic violence and abusive relationships, or they've come through separation and divorce and don't have a lot left, the lack of confidence to manage their own finances, and for women who are starting out again, what we're trying to do is to give them the support to get back up again. So part of the funding that we've set aside, one of the women who came through with this, Sarah, she has a charity called Financial Fitness for Women. And so some of that money, there's a great need for, there's a charity out to help women, disadvantaged women out where she is. And so we're going to work with the convener of that organisation to nominate the women who desperately need the funds. And they can actually, that money can be used for them to come on the course and do it, because any help that we can give them to get started again, whether it's just the skills to get started, so when they've got the money they know what to do, or even just help them up and lift them up. That was the whole point of what we were trying to do with that work.
Yeah, fantastic. And finally, Philippa, what's next? What's next for Wise Girls Money?
Part of the grant we're going to be using is to develop the next modules, and we're looking at women who have gone through it, and I've gone back to the girls and I've said, if you wanted to learn something else, what would that be? And they said, quick as a flash, shares and property. Right. So they're going to start learning how you do that. People can work out property and a loan, but when it comes to shares and the research and the other investment asset classes out there, that's specialised. So that'll be set up for those women who really want to grab it and they've got the income to do it. So we're trying to balance it out with the women who can and supporting the women who can't at the moment to get them up.
Yeah. That's amazing, Philippa. You've lit up my heart. Congratulations again. Thank you for sharing your story. And it's amazing to see all the wonderful work you're doing. You should be really proud of yourself and what you're achieving. And I'm sure many of these women are incredibly grateful.